Hi, I'm Don. Welcome to my channel. Today we paint this Spellcrow merchant's house. It's basically a stone house, medieval type looking design, and I would like to share you the paints I used. I started with dark sea blue because I wanted a really blue base color or darker base color that will give a nice contrast to the warm tones of the wooden panels or the wooden elements of the house. Also, if you've noticed in this channel, I also do not like painting the base color over the black primer because it's very time consuming and I don't find the effect worth it. So in this case, we're using dark sea blue. Painting it over the black primer is super easy because it's super opaque and it's not too light in terms of value. So we're not jumping from like a very dark black primer to a light medium tone valued color. I applied the dark sea blue in 2 thin coats, not really thinning it, just letting the wet palette thin the paints for me. Now we paint the actual base color. So field blue is our base color. I actually mix one part field blue and one part dark sea blue for the first layer so that it won't jump out like, okay, it's too much contrast in between both those colors. So mixing both the colors, the previous color and this one, will give us a nice transition later. And then the second coat, the second layer is just field blue. You see here, I'm painting the second coat or the second pass of just field blue, no mixture of the dark sea blue. So it looks contrasting, it looks light and all that, but when it dries, it kind of blends in towards the previous color. This is not very time consuming because we're not doing glazing and all that stuff. We're not painting a face anyway, so we don't really need a very smooth finish. But we like very complex layering here. So just mix the previous color. Like now we're painting light gray, so I mix light gray with field blue and use that mixture for the first coat, and then for the second coat we're painting mostly just light gray. So this technique is basically mixing the previous color with the new color, so that mixture will be your transition or intermediate color until you use just the new color. So mix, like for example, we mix field blue and light gray, and then that mixture you paint it over the previous painting, and then after that the second pass would be just light gray. Also note that wet paint looks very bright and light colored, but as it dries it kind of blends in with the previous color. So you might ask, why not just dry brush the hell out of these stoneworks? Personally, I think the key to like good painting is not really the technique or the difficulty or the level of difficulty of the painting technique. It's more about the contrast. So I decided to paint it in layering style, the stoneworks and the rock walls in layering style, because I wanted to create a contrast in terms of texture. So the texture of the wooden parts are mostly dry brushed and then glazed with different inks and washes. So it has a different texture because of the dry brushing. And then with this one, we're layering and then mixing colors. So we have a smoother, like more painterly look to the stoneworks or the rock walls. So now we have a subtle contrast between the elements of the same model. Since we have like contrast with the colors that we use, warm tones and warm colors for the wood panels or the wood elements, and then very cool stone rock colors, we have created contrast in colors and in texture. Now we apply the final highlights of the rock walls. We're using white gray, which is a very cool gray color. Ivory is the warm counterpart of white gray because ivory is very warm and it's very yellowish. This one, white gray, it's very cool. It's the perfect highlights for our rock walls. This final highlights with white gray is definitely optional. If you want to play with your terrain piece already, just dry brush white gray all over the rock walls. It should give you a fairly decent effect too. So basically, you could dry brush the whole rock wall and you'll get really good results. But then again, as I've said, we want to create contrast. So it all depends on how much time you want to spend on painting a model. Of course, if you want to spend a lot more time with the model, you could add a bit of glazing with light gray so that you could smoothen out all of those color transitions. But I've said we're not painting a face here, so I'm fine with a semi like rough layering of the colors of the color grays because it suits the rock walls very well for me. I guess the lesson for this video is to not paint the base color over the black primer. That's very time consuming, well, although it looks really great on a video, but it's not practical. In real life, you'll be spending extra time which is not worth it for me. And then you mix the previous color with the current color so that you create nice smooth transitions without doing very time consuming glazing and stuff. I really hope you learned something from this video, and or at the very least you find it informative. So do like, comment, subscribe, and join our channel so that you could visit us or be part of our Discord community. Saludos! Hi, I'm Don. Welcome to my channel.